I think when you're starting, say, a spiritual journey, you're getting going in the faith, you're starting to read the Bible, a lot of people want to start at the beginning, and you're, say, in the Old Testament, getting through Genesis and Exodus, and you're kind of coming up to the law. It can be something that's a struggle to read, because when you're reading thousands of years ago, there's, things we don't do in this day and age. They're different. And I think even when you start getting deep into the weeds of the law, that's something that for sure can put me to sleep. Leviticus and Deuteronomy and Numbers, like, it's something that if you're not really passionate about it and really interested in it, it's one of those things. The mind daydreams and it shifts and it wonders. So something that I'd like to talk about today is how to maybe make that time useful when you are reading that section. It was really complicated when it came to the religious law, and the Pharisees, they actually had to memorize it, like the first 5 books we call the Torah or the Pentateuch. It's just something that it doesn't speak to me. And especially because we have the New Testament, which is to make our walk with Christ and our walk with God very simple. Being cleansed by God is actually way easier in, let's say, the New Covenant than it was with the Old Covenant. What it is, and what we don't understand most of the time, is that He's holy. So when there's these sections talking about clean and unclean, the one thing we can look at is, man, they had to go through a lot. It was really complicated to, say, get close to God thousands of years ago, as He was, teaching the Israelites about how to be holy, what He expects. Now we have to where it's like, hey, you just have to accept this free gift and follow Him. And that seems a lot easier than, going back and following every single little command. It's like playing a game with, hundreds and hundreds of rules and trying to learn them, rather than just being given one universal rule, which is what we were given. Love God with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength. I'm grateful that it's been simplified, that this is a lot easier to walk with God now than it was before. And there's things we don't understand. And sometimes, when we read something, we say, well, I don't know why that's there. Ultimately, He's our Father and He's love. God is love. When you're reading something and it doesn't make sense, try and take the mindset of, hey, this is something out of love. That makes it, a little bit easier to comprehend, I think, especially when you try and put yourself in the shoes of some of the characters. There's a lot of different strategies to reading the Bible. It really just depends on where you're at in your walk. Where you're at in your walk is going to be what's most important in what section you're reading. So if you're trying to read something that's, if you're a newer believer or your walk is fairly new, then I would say the New Testament's probably the place to start. And the more matured you get in faith and the more you understand the story and the more closer you get with Christ, then that's when you go back and read the Old, because it makes you thankful that things have been simplified. Things used to be complicated and now they're a lot easier.